What if the quietest person in your life is carrying the loudest feeling for you? A love so deep it has learned to hide, yet so strong it has already begun to shape both of your worlds without a single word being spoken. Love often reveals itself through subtle signs rather than direct words, because the deepest feelings in a person rarely rush toward expression. When someone is truly moved at the level of the heart and psyche, they become careful, sometimes even restrained. They fear that speaking too quickly could expose them to rejection or misunderstanding, so their emotions find quieter pathways. Instead of bold declarations, love begins to live in small gestures, glances, and moments that might seem ordinary to others but carry great meaning for the one who feels them. A person in love may show it through attention. They listen more closely than anyone else, not just to what is said, but to how it is said. They remember details that others forget, like a passing comment about a favorite song or a small worry mentioned once. This kind of memory is not forced. It is driven by emotional importance. The psyche naturally holds on to what matters, so when someone recalls the little things about you, it often reflects the quiet priority you hold in their inner world. Subtle love also appears in presence. They find reasons to be near you, even when there is no clear purpose. They may join conversations they do not really care about, or linger a little longer before leaving, simply because being close feels meaningful. Their body language may shift when you enter a room, becoming more open, more attentive, more alive. These signals are rarely planned. They arise from the unconscious, revealing what the person may not yet be ready to admit in words. Care is another gentle language of love. They notice when your energy is low, when your mood changes, when something feels off. Without making a show of it, they may ask if you are all right, offer help, or try to lighten your mood. This is not dramatic rescue, but quiet concern. Love wants to protect and support even when it hides behind simple kindness. To an outsider, it might look like politeness. To the heart that feels it, it is devotion in disguise. Sometimes love shows itself through restraint. A person may hold back jokes that could hurt you, avoid topics that make you uncomfortable, or choose patience instead of winning an argument. They regulate themselves because your emotional safety matters to them. This self-control is a strong sign of affection because it means your presence influences their behavior. They are not just being themselves, they are becoming more careful, more thoughtful because of you. Jealousy can also appear, though in softened forms. They might grow quiet when you talk about someone else, or seem less enthusiastic when attention shifts away from them. They may not accuse or complain, but their mood subtly changes. This is not about possession, but about fear of losing a place in your life that they quietly treasure. When managed with maturity, it becomes another hidden signal of how deeply they care. There is also a special warmth in the way they speak to you. Their tone may soften, their words become more encouraging, more respectful, more alive. They celebrate your successes, even small ones, and seem genuinely affected by your struggles. Your happiness feels personal to them, as if it touches something inside their own heart. This emotional resonance is often one of the clearest signs of love that has not yet found its voice. In many cases, humor becomes a bridge. They try to make you smile, to ease your tension, to create moments that belong only to the two of you. Laughter becomes a safe way to connect without exposing deeper feelings. Through lightness, they build closeness, hoping that joy will keep you near while they gather courage for something more. What makes subtle signs so powerful is that they come from the unconscious. People can hide words, but they struggle to hide patterns of care, attention, and emotional investment. Over time, these patterns form a quiet story that reveals the truth of their feelings. Love leaves traces, even when it refuses to announce itself. Understanding these signs requires sensitivity, Not every kind act is love, and not every quiet person is hiding deep feelings. But when many of these signals appear together and remain consistent, they often point toward a heart that is deeply involved. Love does not always arrive with grand gestures. More often, it grows in the small spaces of everyday life, speaking in a language only the attentive soul can hear. Unspoken feelings live in the unconscious and shape behavior in ways people rarely recognize, because the unconscious is the vast inner world where emotions, memories, and desires settle when they are too complex or too risky to face directly. A person may not tell themselves, or anyone else, that they are in love, yet their inner life already knows. The feeling finds a home beneath awareness, influencing how they think, react, and move through relationships without ever announcing its name. When love remains unspoken, it often does so for protective reasons. The mind learns early that some emotions carry danger, the danger of rejection, loss, or humiliation. So instead of allowing the feeling into full awareness, it is gently pushed into the background. But what is pushed away does not disappear. It waits, gathering energy, expressing itself through indirect paths. The person may insist they are just being friendly or supportive, while their unconscious is quietly steering them closer to the one they care for. This hidden love shapes attention first. They find their thoughts drifting toward you during ordinary moments when there is no reason to think about you at all. Your words echo in their mind. Your expressions replay themselves. This is not deliberate daydreaming. It is the unconscious highlighting what matters most. The psyche gives emotional weight to certain images and people, and that weight pulls the mind back again and again, even when the person tries to focus elsewhere. Behavior begins to change as well. They might become more careful around you, more aware of how they appear, more sensitive to your reactions. Small successes in your presence feel uplifting, while minor misunderstandings feel heavier than they should. This emotional amplification is a sign that something deeper is at work. The unconscious has linked your presence to their sense of worth and hope, so every interaction carries more meaning than they consciously admit. Unspoken love also reveals itself in patterns of choice. They may choose to sit near you, defend you when others criticize, or adjust their plans to match yours, without clearly knowing why. If asked, they might offer logical reasons, but beneath those reasons is a quiet pull toward connection. The unconscious does not argue with logic. It simply guides behavior toward what it desires, leaving the person to explain it afterward. There is often an inner tension that accompanies this state. On the surface, they appear calm, but inside, there is restlessness. They may feel slightly incomplete, distracted, or emotionally charged without understanding the source. This is the feeling trying to rise into awareness, seeking recognition. When love is not acknowledged, it can create a subtle pressure in the psyche, a sense that something important is waiting to be lived. Dreams and imagination become another doorway. They might dream of you or imagine situations where you are closer, more connected, more present in their life. In these inner scenes, the unconscious speaks freely because it is not bound by social rules or fear. Even if they brush these dreams aside when awake, the images leave an emotional trace, deepening the bond they feel without a single word being spoken. Sometimes this hidden love expresses itself through overreactions. A small compliment from you can lift their mood for hours. A brief distance can make them unusually quiet or thoughtful. These reactions may surprise even them. They might wonder why your behavior affects them so strongly, without realizing that their unconscious has already invested deeply in you. The danger of leaving love unspoken is that it can turn inward. When feelings have no clear outlet, they may become mixed with anxiety, self-doubt, or fantasy. The person might idealize you, placing you on a pedestal, because the unconscious prefers perfect images to uncertain reality, or they may criticize themselves for feeling so much, trying to suppress what they believe they should not feel. This inner struggle can quietly shape their mood and self-image over time. Yet, unspoken love is not only a source of tension, it can also inspire growth. A person may become kinder, more patient, more motivated, simply because loving you awakens better qualities within them. Even without confession, the feeling refines their character. Love, even when hidden, has the power to reshape the soul. In the end, what lives in the unconscious always seeks expression. It may emerge as words, as actions, or as a deep change in how a person relates to the world. Unspoken feelings do not vanish. They weave themselves into behavior, guiding choices and coloring emotions until the person is changed by what they carry inside, whether or not they ever find the courage to name it. Projection makes us see our inner longings reflected in another person, because the human psyche is always searching for wholeness. Each of us carries parts of ourselves that are undeveloped, unexpressed, or only half known. These parts form images inside us of what we believe would complete us, heal us, or give our life deeper meaning. When we meet someone who seems to carry these qualities, the mind does something subtle and powerful. It places our inner image onto them and begins to experience them not just as who they are, but as who we need them to be. This is why love can feel sudden and overwhelming. We think we are responding only to the person in front of us, but often we are responding to something inside ourselves that has been awakened. Their smile, voice, or way of being touches a hidden desire, and the unconscious fills in the rest. We start to see them as extraordinary, even if to others they appear ordinary. It is not deception in a negative sense. It is the psyche using the outer world as a mirror for its inner world. In projection, we are not fully aware that we are adding our own meanings to the other person. We may believe they understand us perfectly, that they embody everything we admire, that they hold the answers to our emotional needs. In reality, some of these qualities may truly belong to them, but many come from our own depths. We recognize them because they already live within us in potential form. The other becomes a screen on which our inner longings are displayed. This is especially strong when someone feels incomplete, lonely, or uncertain about their path. The psyche then hungers more intensely for an image of fulfillment. When such a person meets someone who seems to promise connection or purpose, projection grows quickly. The loved one becomes not just a companion, but a symbol of hope. Through them, the person imagines a future where their inner conflicts are resolved and their emotional needs finally met. Projection also explains why small gestures can carry enormous meaning. A kind word becomes proof of destiny. A shared interest becomes a sign of deep alignment. The unconscious gathers these moments and builds a story around them, reinforcing the image it has created. The person is not lying to themselves. They are experiencing the world through the lens of their inner desire, which naturally seeks confirmation. However, projection has a double edge. While it can create intense connection and motivation, it can also lead to misunderstanding. We may not truly see the other person as they are. We see what we hope to see. Flaws are minimized, differences ignored, and warning signs overlooked. This is why disappointment can be so painful when reality breaks through. The fall is not only from loving the person, but from losing the dream we built around them. In the context of hidden love, projection becomes even more powerful. When feelings are not expressed, the imagination has more space to grow. The person may build a rich inner relationship with you, filled with conversations that never happened and meanings you never intended. In their mind, the bond feels real and deep because emotionally it is. Yet outwardly, nothing may seem to justify such intensity. This gap between inner experience and outer reality is the quiet world where projection lives. At a deeper level, projection invites self-discovery. The qualities we admire most in another often point to what we long to develop in ourselves. If someone seems strong, perhaps we seek our own strength. If they seem gentle, perhaps we hunger for tenderness in our own life. Love then becomes a teacher, showing us what our soul wants to grow into. The other person carries the image, but the task belongs to us. When awareness grows, projection can slowly withdraw. We begin to see the person more clearly, as a human being with their own struggles and limits. This does not destroy love. Instead, it transforms it from fantasy into relationship. The energy that was bound to the image can then be used to build real connection, or to develop the qualities we once sought only in the other. Yet many people remain in projection for a long time, especially when love stays unspoken. It feels safer to love an image than to risk the uncertainty of reality. As long as nothing is said, the dream can remain untouched. Hope stays alive, even if it is fragile. The person continues to see their inner longing reflected in you, drawing meaning and emotional strength from that reflection. In this way, projection is not merely an illusion. It is a psychological bridge between who we are and who we wish to become. Through another person, our unconscious speaks to us, revealing our deepest desires. Whether or not the love is ever returned, the experience shapes the soul, because in seeing ourselves in another, we are quietly being invited to know ourselves more deeply. Fear of rejection keeps many souls silent despite deep affection, because to reveal love is to place one's most vulnerable self into another's hands. When someone cares deeply, the feeling is not just about liking another person. It is tied to their sense of worth, belonging, and hope for connection. To speak such a feeling is to risk hearing that it is not wanted, and for many, that risk feels heavier than the pain of silence. At the heart of this fear is the memory of past wounds. A person who has once been dismissed, laughed at, or emotionally hurt carries that experience within them. Even if the situation is different now, the psyche remembers. It warns them that love can lead to loss. So when affection grows, the mind begins to build defenses. Silence becomes a shield, a way to keep the heart safe from a wound it does not believe it could bear again. Self-doubt strengthens this fear. Many people secretly question whether they are enough. They look at their flaws, their mistakes, their insecurities, and imagine that if the other truly saw them, they would turn away. This inner voice convinces them that rejection is almost certain, even when there are signs of warmth or interest. Instead of trusting those signs, they trust their own critical thoughts, and those thoughts tell them to stay quiet. There is also the fear of losing what already exists. When a bond has formed as friendship, work connection, or simple companionship, the person worries that confession could destroy it. They tell themselves that having you in their life in any form is better than risking having you not there at all. So they choose closeness without honesty, hoping they can live with the ache of unspoken love rather than face the possibility of complete separation. Pride and vulnerability often clash in this moment. To admit love is to admit need. It means saying without words that another person matters enough to hurt you. For those who value emotional independence or have learned to hide weakness, this feels dangerous. They may appear confident on the outside, yet inside they tremble at the thought of exposing such a tender truth. Silence allows them to keep control, even if it costs them peace. Social expectations can add to this fear. People worry about how they will be seen if their feelings are not returned. They imagine embarrassment, gossip, or being judged as foolish. The mind plays out these scenes in advance, magnifying the possible pain. Often, these imagined outcomes feel more real than the present moment, and they become powerful enough to stop any honest expression before it begins. As time passes, the fear does not disappear. It grows more complex. The longer love stays hidden, the more meaning it gains. The person may think, now it is too late, now it would be strange, now it would only make things worse. Each delay adds another layer of difficulty until silence feels like the only possible path, even though it quietly hurts. Inside, this creates a constant tension. The heart wants closeness and truth. The mind wants safety and certainty. They pull in opposite directions, leaving the person feeling restless, distracted, or emotionally heavy. They may replay conversations, imagine confessions, and then quickly imagine the rejection that could follow. Over time, this inner struggle can shape their mood and even their sense of identity. Yet fear of rejection is not just weakness, it is also proof of how much the feeling matters. People do not fear rejection over what is trivial. They fear it when something touches their core. Love brings with it the dream of being seen, chosen, and valued. To risk that dream and lose it feels like losing a part of oneself. So they protect the dream by keeping it hidden, even though hidden dreams slowly fade. Sometimes this fear leads a person to show love only through actions. They help, support, listen, and stay close, hoping that their care will be felt without them having to speak. In this way, silence becomes its own language, but actions can only go so far. Without words, the heart remains half-known and the connection remains uncertain. Fear keeps many souls silent, but it also keeps love alive in a fragile form. It allows affection to exist without confrontation, hope without proof. The person continues to love from a distance, carrying both warmth and ache inside, because for them, silence feels safer than hearing a no that might echo in their heart forever. Emotional connection grows when two inner worlds resonate, because beneath everyday words and actions, each person carries a private universe of feelings, memories, fears, and dreams. When two people meet whose inner rhythms somehow align, there is a sense of recognition that goes beyond logic. It feels natural to open up, to linger in conversation, to share thoughts that are usually kept hidden. This is not created by effort. It arises when something inside one person quietly answers something inside the other. At first, this resonance may appear as simple comfort. You feel at ease around them, even in silence. There is less need to perform, impress, or defend yourself. The presence of the other feels safe, as if your inner world has found a place where it can rest. This comfort is one of the earliest signs that an emotional bridge is forming, because the psyche relaxes only when it senses understanding rather than threat. As the connection deepens, conversation takes on a different quality. You may find yourselves speaking about meaningful topics without planning to, sharing stories from the past, or reflecting on hopes for the future. Even when discussing ordinary things, there is an undercurrent of attention and care. Each person listens not just to reply, but to truly understand. This mutual presence makes both feel seen, and being seen is one of the deepest human needs. Resonance also shows itself through empathy. When one person is troubled, the other feels it almost instinctively. A change in tone, a brief pause, or a shift in energy is enough to signal that something is wrong. The response is not forced. It comes naturally, as if the emotional state of one stirs the heart of the other. This shared sensitivity creates a sense of closeness that words alone cannot build. Over time, emotional connection weaves itself into everyday life. You begin to think of the other person when something good or difficult happens. They become the one you want to tell, the one whose reaction matters most. Their presence takes on emotional weight. This does not mean dependence, but significance. It means that your inner world has made room for them, and their inner world has done the same for you. In this space, trust grows quietly. You dare to reveal parts of yourself that you usually hide, doubts, fears, regrets, or dreams that feel fragile. Each time these are met with respect rather than judgment, the bond strengthens. The psyche learns that this connection is safe, and safety allows depth. Emotional intimacy is not created by grand gestures, but by these small moments of honest sharing that build a sense of mutual shelter. Resonance does not mean sameness. Two inner worlds can be different and still harmonize. What matters is not that both people think alike, but that they allow space for each other's differences. When one speaks, the other tries to understand rather than correct. When disagreement appears, it is handled with care rather than attack. This respectful exchange keeps the connection alive because it tells both hearts that the relationship can hold truth without breaking. For someone who is secretly in love, this emotional resonance becomes the soil where hope grows. Each meaningful conversation, each shared silence feels like proof that something deeper exists. Even without confession, the person senses that their inner world is already touching yours. This makes the feeling stronger, because love thrives where there is emotional closeness, not just physical presence. Yet emotional connection also carries vulnerability. When two inner worlds resonate, each becomes capable of affecting the other deeply. A kind word can uplift, but a careless moment can wound. This sensitivity is the price of depth. Still, many are willing to pay it, because a life without such connection feels emptier than one that risks pain. As resonance continues, both people may notice subtle changes in themselves. They become more reflective, more open, more aware of their own emotions. The connection acts like a mirror, revealing parts of the self that might otherwise remain hidden. In this way, emotional closeness is not only about bonding with another, but also about meeting oneself more honestly. When two inner worlds resonate, a quiet bond forms that does not need constant explanation. It lives in shared understanding, mutual presence, and the feeling that somewhere in this vast world, there is another heart that speaks a similar emotional language. And in that shared language, both find a sense of belonging that gives meaning to their connection. Awareness is the first step toward transforming hidden love into conscious truth, because what remains unseen in the psyche continues to guide life from the shadows. When love is hidden, it shapes thoughts, choices, and emotions without being fully understood. A person may feel restless, hopeful, anxious, or deeply attached without clearly knowing why. Awareness brings light to this inner movement. It allows the person to name what is happening inside and to recognize that these feelings are not random, but meaningful. The moment someone admits to themselves that they are in love, even silently, something changes. The feeling no longer floats in the background as a vague pull. It becomes a real part of their inner world. This recognition can be frightening because it removes the protection of denial, yet it is also freeing because it gives form to what was once only felt. To be aware is to say, "This matters to me," and in saying that, the heart begins to take responsibility for its own truth. With awareness comes clarity. The person starts to see how much their behavior has been shaped by this hidden love. They notice why certain moments matter so much, why certain words linger, why certain distances hurt. What once felt confusing now begins to make sense. This understanding does not erase the emotion, but it organizes it. The psyche moves from chaos to meaning, and meaning brings a sense of inner order. Awareness also opens the door to choice. When love is unconscious, it simply happens to the person. They follow its pull without realizing it, but when they become aware, they gain the ability to decide how to respond. They can ask themselves what they truly want, what they fear, and what they are willing to risk. This does not make the path easy, but it makes it honest. The person moves from being driven by feeling to relating to feeling with intention. In the end, the story of hidden love is the story of the human soul searching for wholeness. Subtle signs, unspoken feelings, projection, fear, emotional resonance, and finally awareness all point to one truth. Love is not only something we feel for another, it is something that reveals who we are. When a person carries love in silence, their inner world is already in motion, shaping their choices and their becoming. And when awareness rises, love is invited out of the shadows into conscious life, where it can either be expressed, transformed, or gently released. Whatever the outcome, such love is never wasted because it deepens the heart, refines the spirit, and teaches us that every genuine connection is a call to know ourselves more honestly and to live with greater courage in the presence of what truly matters.